Hello, I am back to read some more of the Circles of Effectiveness book. I still have a few copies left. Turns out I didn't have to worry about selling them on the place because you can just DM me if you want a copy of it. I really literally thought of that this afternoon. I'm such a businesswoman. Anyway, but it's a really great book to help us with, if you haven't watched part 1 and 2 yet, go do that. But it's about taking action in ways that we are effective. Like, it's not effective to just doom scroll, right? And it's not effective to constantly be thinking about the things that you have no control over, right? And so it helps to make sure you don't just get exhausted and worn out, because that's what they want, right? So the last video we did the first circle, which is me, and then the next circle is my household, right? Seize the moments of happiness, love and be loved. That's Tolstoy. Maybe it's your kitty that wakes up with you every morning for her breakfast. Maybe it's your roommate who you appreciate for doing the dishes. Maybe it's your partner who you haven't made coffee for in a while. Maybe it's your kiddo who wants to show you something they've been really into lately. We take the loved ones in our home for granted sometimes. We lead such busy lives, and to be honest, there's always something to be annoyed about when it comes to other living beings in our home. But what if, for today, we see them through the lens of gratitude? Not to say there aren't sometimes issues in these relationships that need attending to, but make the time to work things out. Get outside support if needed. Practice active listening and non-judgmental communication. Connect before correcting. Maybe the reason things are stressful is because we are stressed about an issue and not present with the people and animals we love in our home. Maybe we are so distracted with the state of the world that we forgot to pay attention to the worlds of the ones we love. Find ways to connect. Do a little extra for them, to laugh with them and appreciate them. When our home is peaceful, it recharges us all. Write out your plan for the My Household part of your day on the journal page. And as you can see back here, there's all these journal pages where you can make a plan every day for how you're going to attend to each of your circles of effectiveness. So I hope that helped. And you know what? I think I'm just going to keep going. We want to hear one more? My neighbors. That's your next circle. Can you see how this is working? They're concentric circles coming out. So me, my household, my neighbors, and it just gets bigger and bigger in ways that we can be effective, right? My neighbors. After the verb to love, to help is the most beautiful verb in the world. That's by Bertha von Stuttner. Who these days knows their neighbors? Some, I'm sure, do, and some would rather not, and some do know them and wish they didn't. But a simple gesture like a smile and a wave when we are getting in our car or when we're out getting the mail, just taking a moment to acknowledge a neighbor can add some more love to the world. Maybe you see your neighbor carrying the groceries and offer to help, or help with yard work, or hold the elevator door open for them. Start a white elephant table in the foyer of your building. If you're making a batch of soup for dinner or baking cookies, see if the people next door would like some. Shovel the sidewalk in winter all the way to the end of the block. Just the smallest acts of kindness and connection is what we, whether we know it or not, crave in this culture, especially in the U.S. That puts so much value on independence. We forget that humans are social beings, and we forget how interdependent we all truly are. Connection, even in tiny moments, can help us feel less alone. Connection can also dispel the judgments we may be carrying about the people who live in our building, on our block, or right next door. It might even open the door to more friendship and cooperation. And then you write what you're going to do for your neighbors thing on this page. I'll keep going. My community. A very little key opens a heavy door. That's by Charles Dickens. There are many ways to show love and create peace in your community. You can volunteer at the food bank or just drop some needed items when you go food shopping. You can help out for a couple of hours at the animal shelter. You can take part in a cleanup for the park or whatever moves your spirit. But you can also make your community brighter by saying, "I like your hat," to a stranger at the bus stop, or smiling at someone as you pass in the grocery store. That's my dog barking. Smile with love at the person in the crosswalk as they pass your car. Really look at strangers and in your heart and your mind, wish them well. Share your love to people, animals, and the earth in your community. The smallest actions can be day changing or life changing for many people, and you will find yourself lighter and happier too. My government. Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds you plant. That's Robert Louis Stevenson. Now we are getting to the wider circles where we have less hands-on effectiveness, unless we decide to run for office and work in a capacity that makes changes to the government. For most of us, this is the time to research who will be the most effective representative to approach with our concerns, and then call, email, write a letter, start or sign a petition, donate, or get others of like mind to do the same. And remember that if enough of us take these actions with representatives that we feel never listen to us anyway, they will. Righteous rage has a place here, but once we say our piece and take the actions, we must release that rage and recenter ourselves. To hold on to that rage throughout our day will affect the other circles and render us exhausted, burnout, and ultimately ineffective. It is incredibly important that we don't hold on to this rage and let it affect the other circles, because a group of people who are overwhelmed, exhausted, and disconnected from themselves, their households, their neighbors, and their community are disempowered and easy to control and weaken even more. And lastly, the world. A hero is a person who does what they can. That's from Romain Ronald. We are global citizens. Everything we do has an effect on others. What we buy, how we take care of the planet we share, and our energy as individual humans ripples out to the entire world. As people who understand this, we do what we can to learn about other cultures, histories, traditions, and people. And when there is injustice and need far away from us, we must do what we can for our human family. So again, we call, we donate, we write, we organize, we let them know that they are not alone and that these far away strangers truly care. Then we return to the circle, from this circle to the beginning, to me, to refresh and recharge ourselves once the actions of caring for our global family is done. After all, we are part of this family too, and as you now understand, each circle of effectiveness is intertwined with the next, and we as individuals are the foundation of them all. We must stay strong and healthy, be the peace, be the love, be the connection, and be the justice we want to see in the world. When we start with our own well-being and then work in ever-widening circles, we make the biggest impact and continue to be effective in creating real change. There you go. And then every day you can write out what you're going to do in each of those categories and make a plan. Get it out of your head and onto paper so that you have a plan for what you're going to do each day. And that also reduces stress and makes you more effective. All right. DM me if you want a copy of this. I also have the Witches Week, which is which is a harnessing the power of the day. It's also kind of like a journal thing, but it has a tarot page to color and all of these wonderful affirmations and stuff like that, and correspondences and your chakra and your mantras and all that for the powers that are already intrinsic in each day of the week. Anyway, I love you. We got this. Stay in your circles.